at the beginning of this worship, this is the day that several people saw him leave Bethany and Bethlehem and come to Jerusalem. Yes, sir. And immediately on Monday, he cleaned the temple. In other words, he added insult to injury. Amen. Because on Sunday morning, and that's what most pastors fear, is that people can act differently on Sunday than Monday. Amen. They'll smile, they'll shout, and they'll turn around. But on Monday. But it's certainly not everybody. There are Christians and believers in this world. There's a whole lot of Christians and believers in Greater Trinity. Amen. But do not fear, there are some crooks. And a crook is one that intends to be a crook. You don't slip up on being crooked. You have to know the Lord in order to resort to becoming crooked. Amen. So this morning, on Tuesday night we talked about Mark 11. And we went from the first to the 11th verse. Now, Bible readers need to be able to make the connection from Mark 11 and Mark's description to Mark 14. Amen. This morning before you and I leave here, it's important that you know what happened the 5 days before he was put on the cross. Amen. Starting Monday and then Tuesday, in which every day he was going back and forth from Bethany and Bethlehem to Jerusalem. Amen. Amen. So Mark 14, we see that God has told us that they had led Jesus away to the high priest. Right? Is everybody with us? And all the chief priests, elders, and scribes convened. Is still everyone with us? And Peter followed him at a distance, right into the high priest's courtyard. Right. He was sitting with the temple police, warming himself by the fire. Amen. This was just several hours after Peter had taken off malchus idolatrous ear. Just several hours. And Jesus, as we said on Tuesday night, had just saved him from the cross.
Yep.
Because that was a capital offense. Is that whenever you strike or bring harm to an official, you yourself can be crucified. But didn't Jesus save it? Didn't he save us from our temper? Because Peter said, is that you're not going to toy around, that's not the word I want to use, with our Savior. Is that I'm taking out my sword and I'm taking your ear off. Have we got questions? And we shouldn't sit up here with any anger in our hearts against anybody, because you don't know the whole story. If Peter hadn't been asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane, is that he would know that Jesus planned to die. If you didn't come to church and slept the whole time, it's that you would know that certain things are going to happen. That's why Peter went and did something that the Lord did not care for, because he didn't stay away in the garden. Didn't he tell him several times, wake up? And if they had stayed away, and if they had done what God wanted them to do as disciples, they wouldn't have had to act hypocritical. There's one more fact. Is that didn't they bring a Roman army? And his ministry was 3+ years, 3.5 years. He had never carried a weapon. He had never shown any violent actions. Yet, on Thursday evening, they brought a Roman army. Now we got it? If church folk would see what's happening in the church, we would never act violently. Because Christ himself never acted as a hypocrite. It was never any necessity for him to be captured with a whole army. Because he looked out and said, you don't want to touch them. I'm the one. We got a witness. And just as we look at this message this morning, and we read the first verse of the message, I want someone who has the Bible to look at Mark 14:51. Mark 14. And read that.
A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment.
I can't. This one. Thank you, Sister Johnson. Mark 14:51.
A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus.
A young man that was following Jesus after his capture had a sheep around him. Go ahead, sister.
When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind him.
Amen. Had a sheep on him. 16. It's in the sticky page, look about it. Amos, Obadiah, John, Michael, David, Zechariah. No. Amos.
Yes, sir. Even the most,
What, listen to Brother Paul here.
even the most courageous of the warriors will flee naked on that day. This is the Lord's declaration.
Years before it happened,
Yes, sir.
centuries before it happened,
Yes, sir.
Amos 2:16, it says that on that day there will be a courageous person that will flee with no clothes on, naked. Theologians agree that that person is John Mark, who wrote this book. So when you and I read John 14, and we started with the 53rd verse here in your message page, but you should look at 51 and the whole chapter. You will know that John Mark was actually a witness
Yes, sir.
to what was happening at this time. Have I got a witness? And he knew that something devilish was about to happen. Have I got a witness? Let's read the 55th verse. The chief priest and the whole Sanhedrin was looking for a testimony against Jesus to put him to death. But they couldn't find him. Just before we ask the ushers to take their seat, because I may need some protection here. Is there anything you look for, you will find? I remember back in the military that my M14 was inspected by people that were officers, white gloves. I wish I had somebody. Is anybody hearing me this morning? Because he was not going to come in uniform and walk up and down the barracks and not come out finding nothing. And when they found something on my weapon, it was the residue of the clean cloth. to see whether the preacher is going to say something that they know is not the truth. That's the only reason why they're here. They're not here to worship God. Is that they're looking for mistakes. Now we got to witness. They're looking for something in which they can go and say, look. Now we got to witness. God wants us to be about the business of building and not tearing down. Sanhedrin Council. You saw it here. There were three elements of the Sanhedrin Council. There were the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. They were analogous to the Congress of the United States.
All right.
We're going to finish. So this was Jerusalem's Congress. These were the ones that followed the Jewish text that was the Mishnah. M-I-S-H-N-A-H, the Mishnah. That was the Constitution and the laws.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That governed the Jewish prophets. Amen. I'm saying all this before you go to sleep. And that was their job.
All right.
Now we got to witness. But how many congressmen have, because of their bad actions, has had to leave office? One just left last week because he used governmental funds to decorate his office and used the funds to travel all over the world. And he said, I'm not going to resign. And a few days later, he was. Somebody's following me here. So this was the Congress of the Jewish prophets.
All right.
They were determined, Brother Brady, to crack the rock of salvation.
Amen.
Now we got to witness. Now I've told some of you, and possibly many of you, that when I went to college, there's two things that I wanted to be. The first was an architect. Have we got to witness? Couldn't even spell it when I went there. But what I really wanted to be was a geologist.
All right.
What's this? I guess it's because my father had so many rocks thrown at him. But the real reason is I like to study rocks. Because rocks never change their appearance. Rocks have molecules therein.
All right.
Have we got a witness? And the molecules will